Runaway robot. Hey, welcome to a DM prep stream for DieFall. Today is April 15th. So the episode today will be on the 15th at 3 p.m. So we're going to be prepping for that stream and that show, as well as answering any questions that happen to pop up in chat today. And hopefully we kind of solidify some of our new goals and how we're utilizing those in supplementing some experience gain through role-playing. I think our issue currently with our game is, I don't know if the players feel compelled to actively role-play and find things out with each other. And that's not necessarily wrong, and I don't really want to push them in a certain direction in that case, but I feel like they could be well served in enjoying the game even more than they are by maybe pursuing more in-depth character building or interaction even. There seems to be, I don't know if it's a fear or a taboo or something about like not wanting to interact with each other as much as maybe I would expect. So hang on, I'm typing in some new map stuff. I really think there's a map that I remember seeing in Roll20 that I really want, and I want to make sure that I have it, just in case we want to use it. Because I think it'll work really well for this kind of abandoned dwarven stronghold that I kind of have an idea for like where our current big bad is residing. So what our party is doing now, they would just have gotten out of an encounter with, basically they witnessed a small ritual and may have almost become a part of it. And that could have gone south pretty quickly. But they won a fight. There was some back and forth with it, but they seemed to dispatch it relatively easily. It got a little dicey at the end with some reinforcements, but they were able to pick it up and do it. So good for them. I'm trying to think. The last thing we talked about them doing is there is going to be a confrontation between Jirok and one of his brothers of the Six, right? So these these ring-wearing kind of assassin-style orcs are a part of a small pledged tribe called the Six, and he has betrayed them, and it's currently what is killing him is a curse that lies on this ring. So they're it's not a good time for him, but I think he's going to have to confront his his former brothers, at least one of them. My concern is that these guys, they're actually pretty strong, and I'm a little concerned that they might, if they get into a fight here, that they might bite the dirt. Oh, here we go. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Cool. And I think if all goes kind of accordingly, Jirok's not going to want them to fight. So, despite what the players might believe, Jirok is not out to get them. He has no illusions of betrayal or anything like that. He's actually he's an honorable guy. He's an honorable guy as far as warrior orcs go. Kind of just ended up in a wrong place, wrong time situation. I'm looking through this map right now to see if it's something I want. You know what? We can go ahead and pull that up. I'm looking through these maps to see if they're anything that I want to incorporate here. So this is kind of a cool. I like this. This is kind of a cool area. It could serve well for a final confrontation with a throne. That actually looks really cool. See if there's like anything else that's kind of Like a mining depot. Oh, see, that could be neat too, right? Because we are in a mining situation here, so these mines could be interesting as well. Guard tunnels unfinished. Yeah, okay. Some of this is neat. I like this. I might go ahead and get this. So, all of you subscribers and things, this is what your money goes towards, is buying this right now. So I'm going to go back to this so I don't have to show you my financial information, but I think I'm going to go ahead and purchase this. Yeah, and then we're gonna craft something around this, and we're gonna continue talking about how this confrontation is gonna go with Jirok. I'm not sure how we're gonna treat this. So here's our prep page, right? So this has a lot of our stuff on it. Oh, goals. We should discuss goals, I think, maybe before anything else, huh? I don't like how every time I click into this, it moves. That's really frustrating, actually. All right, there we go. That'll work for now. I'll have to move it around later, but there we go. So we have some goals that we need to take a look at first here. Ignis, we solidified these goals at the beginning of the last session, and kind of after the stream, we talked more about the goals, and they kind of decided that they were going to stay with what they had. So Ignis's goals, he wants to find and save his dad. Makes sense. It's not. He doesn't really have an opportunity to do that anytime soon. We know where his dad is, kind of as an audience. He's in a dungeon, most likely at Hida von Roll's tower, her wizard tower. So that could be interesting. He wants revenge on who ordered the poisoning of his dad. So he's resolved that he doesn't want to shoot the messenger. The messenger in this case being Jirok. So he doesn't want to kill Jirok anymore. He doesn't want revenge on him. He wants revenge on who ordered the poisoning of his father. Which in this case is the orc shaman leader. Which I think I wrote down where is his name? Valrul. There we go. So no one's really asked about this yet, which is this is another thing that I've been looking at is the players don't seem to ask a whole lot of questions of anyone. They kind of take things at face value. They don't try to insight on anything unless prompted to. They don't ask for deeper questions or meaning. They kind of just roll with it. And I don't know if that's a failing on my part to encourage the players to try to look deeper into stuff, or should I just leave more breadcrumbs and questions? It's a hard balance to strike, because I'm not trying to railroad them in any way, but they just go. So I don't know. And I'd love to give them something that they can pursue, maybe sideways to the main goal or something, something that piques their interest high enough that they want to know more about it. But maybe we'll see that develop with this goal system. His third goal here is I think I don't remember if he actually kept this, but I'll ask him. He wants to find a way to prevent himself from forcibly being dragged around. I think this is a really hard one for him to do, if not impossible. So, you think it's kind of a failure on the player's part? I'm reading from chat right now. Q has said he thinks it's kind of a failure on the player's part. Most players are the shoot first, ask questions later type. That has been really evident with these players. True too. Even more so in the previous iteration of players when McSwiggins was in the mix, which that fine, it works. Rob played McSwiggins very well and very to a point where it was easy to see that McSwiggins was literally axe first and then ask questions later. And he learned that the questions are hard to be answered when the head is on the floor. So I think that maybe that's carried over a little bit. I'd be kind of hoping for an intellectual character like Ignis to try to probe deeper. But Ignis seems to be wrapped up in a lot of crazy schemes on the side that maybe aren't necessarily helping him in any way. But, you know, he can do whatever he would like to do. Miara, she has 3 goals here. And there's a couple of goals in here that are, like, really ambiguous. And we talked about them at the end of the last stream together, and it's the protection ones. So her first one here is she wants to get info on her village / brother, which was attacked, and her brother was kidnapped. So she wants info on that. Cool. That's kind of a long-term thing. She's pretty she's pretty far away from anything that might point in the direction of what had happened there. But I do see an opportunity because it's not super far. Like, the village she's from is not that far out of the spine. I see an opportunity here for either the brother or some of the villagers or something like that to have been taken and held as captives by Valrul, because and we'll get to this later. Valrul needs souls. He needs power. He needs sacrifices. So I think there's an opportunity here to get some resolution for Miara on this one in this area for sure. The Ignis goal was dragged. Oh, not dragged around, but dragged underwater. Okay. Specifically, I guess I missed that on my page. So the next one is one of these protection ones. Protect group. Now, the thing is, we talked about it at the end of the stream, is that I think these protection ones must be specific to a single action and roll. There has to be a statement of, I step in front of something, or I do something to protect X, rather than like, we won combat, right? Because that doesn't work. You're in combat. You could just as well be in it for yourself as protecting someone else. And I don't know if I actually like these protection ones. I think it's kind of a cop-out on developing an actual goal. I don't want to like turn them away from or turn them off of setting goals because I tell them that they're bad, but like, this is a really non-specific thing, and it's hard to assign a role to something because most of these goals need to be hinged on either a role or an action of some kind. So these protection ones are kind of like they're ambiguous. They're very ambiguous. So we're going to leave it for now, but it is something we're going to continue to discuss. And the last one is she wants no lasting impact to herself from being on this mission, essentially. Now, if we start including these two things here, can really start to contradict each other if this plays out how I'm currently envisioning it in my head. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means this is how goals work, right? Sometimes you don't know the end result here, so you kind of have to play around it. Darian, see, this is another one of the things. He wants to protect Ignis. This as a vassal, as a minor lord's son. This would be his essential job to protect one of his nobility. Makes sense, but it doesn't. It's very non-specific, again, right? He wants to complete the mission as set by Earl Reist. He's he's a follower, right? He seems to be a follower. And the last one is, and I like this one, become closer with Miara, right? And so that's the cool thing about these is that Miara has the opportunity to say, yeah, I feel closer with Darian. And that would award Darian the completion of that goal. So the party goals we've not really addressed yet. They're kind of just up there. We have the mission, right? Which is fine. That works. So the war is continuing to play out. It's only been a day, right? Like our last session took place in a day. So cool stuff happened, I guess. We took some time, we did some things. But I want to add some interest to the next days that they have. I don't want it to just be travel, combat, travel, right? There needs to be something else that breaks up this kind of thing. So we have all of our sides here, all of our fronts. Earl Reist has the remaining High Lord armies fighting for, trying to get the city of Erdrick to restore it, but is fighting on two fronts here against the city of Erdrick that's had this coup, and the minor lords there that have taken over, and the orc forces to the north. So he's kind of in a bind here. He's in a bind. The Orc King wants to free the slaves of Erdrick, has essentially done so at this point. And I think our players are going to witness something like that very soon here. And wants to unite the northern tribes. He's pretty much done that, and he has some other goals that I'm not going to talk about here, but like the dude's pretty much set right now. The Orc King is done. The problem is the Orc King's advisor, Val Rule, is working for his aspect now, right? Like he is out for himself and out to expand the influence of his aspect, which is Karis, the aspect of disease. The new city of Erdrick. Gita von Rolls is in charge right now. And every neighborhood is essentially owned by the companies and low lords, even more so than they already were. It's basically become like thug-owned territory, or gang territories throughout the city. So our players haven't seen that in a while, so that'll play out later. But she is solidifying her hold on the new city, right? Yep. So Orc King advisor Val Rule. He's converting them into followers, worshippers, or cultists, or as we saw in the last one, if they can't cut it, they turn into weird zombie slaves, which is kind of fun too, and interesting at least. He's funneling power, sacrifices, and energy into a quote unquote chosen. Right, that's his end goal here. That's how he's going to assist his aspect in solidifying a hold, a more concrete hold over the mortal realm. So now I think what's happening here is that he's receiving a bulk of the former Erdrick slaves at this point. And I'm going to say captives as well. Military captives from Reist's army. He'll have prisoners of war. And I think he's going to utilize these, let's go ahead and just specify POWs. That he's going to utilize these to expand what he's got going on, right? He's going to try to use that. Okay. Iron Tusk, he's the guide. We already talked about violating his oath. See, I'm not sure how... This is where we need to talk about what happens with Jirok. And do the players even care? That's the thing, right? How do we get our players to care about this guy? right? How do we get them to care about this situation here? Where Jirok meets... I need to put him on the token layer real quick. Where Jirok meets this guy, one of his brothers, right? And is confronted about his betrayal. What happens here? Now, in my brain, I think, given, let's say they travel a little longer, and maybe they get close enough to Jirok. You think they already care? He is their guide. Rob already tried to heal him too. That's true. He did. So I can tell that at least like one person cares about his use to the party. So do you think they'd try to assist, or do you think they'd listen to him? Does. Welcome to the stream, bud. How are you? It's been a long time. Hope you're doing all right, man. We're doing a DM prep thing for today's show. So you think they care, Q? You think they already do? And maybe that's true. Because behind the scenes, maybe visually with Rob's healing, Jirok doesn't maybe look as good. Right? Like he doesn't look like he got any better through the healing, but he feels better. That's the thing. It took some weight off of him. And the thing is, if Rob continues to try to do that, and I think Jirok's going to ask for it at the end of days, I think he'll ask at the end of every day if he'll provide that comfort to him. And if Rob continues to provide that and really assists with him here, I think that's something that could be really cool and a kind of a building moment between an NPC and a player character. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Does. Hey, man, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're okay. It's all right, man. Thanks for stopping by and letting me know. I've been worried about you, dude. I'm glad you're okay. Thanks, man. So maybe, okay. So Jirok, in this case, I think if he becomes confronted by one of his brothers, I think he's going to attempt to confront him alone. And what we're going to have to see is how the party reacts. If the party attempts to help, I think this guy's going to challenge him for his honor. The thing is, Jirok will lose to this guy. Jirok has to contend with a bunch of things, like internally. Remember, like I keep having him make Constitution saves to even attack, right? So he will fail at some point, and his brother, we've named him already. His name is Kel, K-E-L-L-E. Kel will kill him. He will. But if our friends try to help, because what they can do here is, while the fight happens, they can try to go around, right? There's a break in the wall here. They can attempt to swim across, and they can go around. Now, this is a waterfall. This drops off underneath the earth and ends up somewhere else. If they fail the check to get across, they end up somewhere else. And by they, it means we could essentially see a separation of the party, which could be interesting, but way dangerous. The check's not going to be super hard. Probably going to be about a DC 12 or 13. It is swimming, so it is a strength check. So we'll have to see how they do it. The thing is, what happens if the party refuses to let Jirok fight on his own? Right? What if they challenge? Well, we have to take a look at what this encounter means. So if we come on over to this, let's see. So this is kind of the setup we have here. So if I search for orcs, I believe they are No, they're not blades. They're not war chiefs. They're red fangs. Hang on. They're these. So taking on 1 at these levels should, quote unquote, should be an easy task. Together. Should be easy. What will this guy do? Knowing he's confronted by all of them together, I think he leaves. I want to check what this would be. Hard. Yeah. But I don't think he's alone. That's why I'm looking at this. That's why I'm looking at this encounter. Right. I think he goes in there and Kel challenges in this situation. Kel challenges him. If he accepts and the fight happens, if the party waits, they wait for the end to see who the victor is. Because what I expect to happen here is both of these guys, they have globes of darkness, right, as an innate ability given to them by the rings. This whole fight will take place in a globe of darkness, which means our players will not be able to see in it or out of it. So if they wait over here or something like that, we'll have to see how that works. But is Kel alone, right? That's the thing. Is Kel alone? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to leave this one here. I must say probably not. But now, I think this is probably what our big encounter will be for this session today, if we get to it. But what happens before this? Oops. I did not mean to duplicate that page. My bad. I wanted to click on it. What happens before this? We need to kind of design something that takes up time or space or something. And I think the idea for that is we're in an old abandoned mine now, right? Now there's things that you can do in an old abandoned mine. Pitfalls, traps, falling rocks. So let's talk about maybe there's a pit. What's a good way to look at? I love donjons, by the way. This is the best thing. If you can you go random generators. Let's go traps. Any danger on these traps? Hang on. Oh, scroll back over. You have blocks, which you could just call falling rocks. I don't want to there's like minor ones. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do here, right? And if you just select these, hey Bob, how you doing, bud? Donjons any good? Yeah, man, I love donjons. So like this stuff, I mean, you know, it's useful. So the thing is, I don't think any of these things are inherent traps, but this is the one I'm looking for down here. Boom. So it's not necessarily a concealed pit. It's like a sinkhole, right? So a pit / sinkhole. So they're going to be traveling. The foundations of this mine have maybe given out underneath or something like that. And you know, they have to avoid this. A DC 15 to find. Here's the thing. If I remember correctly, Ignis is going to be able to see this thing if he's up front. I think his is 16. Yeah. He has a passive perception of 16. So it's a DC 15 to find. But Ignis should be able to do it. But what this means... You think mines would have a lot of poison gas traps? I think I already utilized that quite a bit with those mushrooms, but you're right. There could be more. And that's something we can do too. Maybe they run across more of those mushrooms too. Like a whole encompassing area of those mushrooms. I've also given them, I don't know if you watched the last episode, I gave them quite a powerful tool with some dynamite. We'll see how that goes. Party's not bringing a canary with them? No, I don't believe they've brought a canary. They should have, huh? So 15 to disable. I think because it's not necessarily a trap, there is no DC to disable. They're going to have to find a way around or over it. Because you can't disable like a hole in the ground. It just exists. It's a sinkhole. So it affects all targets in 10 feet. So essentially it'd be the first and second person in line would end up in this hole. A DC 13, it would be a dex save. Or take half. 2d10. 2d10 is swingy, because d10s are pretty swingy. But it's not going to ruin them. I think everyone's over 20 health now anyway. As long as they start the day with 20 health. I think Miara might have the lowest. Yep, she has 28 max, so she's fine. Which means that's like a 20 is that a 20-foot fall? I think it is. And so where they're gonna fall is into another cavern. If they fall. Interest and intrigue, maybe? In finding maybe a new way, something around the direction that they've been traveling. Could be fun. Poison gas traps. Yeah, let's talk about these. Right? What did the mine? Silver is what they've seen recently. Is it silver mine? As they head deeper, it's an old abandoned one, so they'd have to take a look at what's around. I'm undecided about the next portion of it, because as they get closer and deeper to this old dwarven stronghold, the dwarves would have been mining whatever's in the area as well. So we could decide. Hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide are all heavier than air mine gases. True. So you're thinking maybe it's like just a pocket of air? As they go down? Whoa, a DC 19 save or take 4d10 poisoned? No, thank you. Wow. That would literally kill them. Could fill it with dead critters as a warning. I like that idea, Bob. But it would have to be off the beaten path that they're already on. See, the thing is, with their guide, the guide is taking them down an area that he's been many times, but he hasn't been there in a while. Oh, shit. Oh, I like this. I like this, Bob. Okay, so as they head deeper, they start seeing corpses and stuff. You don't notice yourself dying in bad gas areas because you don't notice the oxygen deprivation. Yeah. Yeah. So, ooh, I like this. This could be interesting. Let's say somewhere further down, right? An old portion of the mine fell in and kind of opened up a side passage. The side passage was like one of those like ventilation shafts, but turns out it's literally full of poison gas. So now it's leaked out into the main passage. So let's say there's a quote unquote gas leak from a bad ventilation shaft. Right? Leaking to the main area. So we would see, Do you think it would be more impactful if they saw some of these dead cultists, or do you think dead critters alone? What's stuff that exists in caves? Abominable Yeti. That's wow. Let's do max CR of 1. So like little things, bats. There we go. That's good. We have bats, giant rats, spiders, maybe lizard. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. And what else do we have if we went even deeper? Underground. More bats. I think that's probably... Bats or rats are probably the best indicator here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hydrogen sulfide is known as stink damp because it smells bad. Nitrogen dioxide is called black damp because it causes torches go out. Ooh, and sulfur dioxide makes your lungs burn. I like the nitrogen dioxide thing because we do have a torch. We have someone who utilizes a torch here. Oh, this could be interesting. Not only is it oxygen deprivation, but it causes his torch to go out. And they've been noticing, let's say bats. Let's say bats on have been dying, right? Or like they see corpses of bats as they go. Leaking into like a main cavern, cave, tunnel. Tunnel's a better word. And it'd be like they see bat corpses. Maybe like 4 or 5. If they continue deeper, I think there's probably a location where the collapse happened, right? Like let's say they try to push through this. How long does it take for them to suffocate? See, this is dangerous though. This is super dangerous because if they don't notice or they don't get the picture, and how long does it take for the light to go out? Right? So it'd be like one of those things like your torch goes out, but there's no breeze. So why does it takes 1 minute per con modifier to suffocate? Okay, so that's regardless. It's not just holding your breath. That's what it is. Okay, cool. I like that. That gives them time. It gives them 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes max. Because I think she has the lowest con. Ooh. But if they run out, because let's say it extends, the torch gets low before it goes out. Yeah. Right, because there's still enough oxygen to exist, and it's still enough oxygen for them to breathe. So it'll be a gradual thing. So they'll have more than 2 minutes total, right? But when the torch eventually goes out, that's kind of when the timer starts, right? Because that's the point in time that there's not enough oxygen for the flame to exist, so there's not going to be enough oxygen for them to breathe. I think that's a pretty good indicator. Oh, is it raining here? Oh. Well then. I like this. This is interesting. They'll see as they go in, there'll be bat corpses, and the torch begins to fade. Dims. As they continue in, if they continue in, Hey, Tom, how you doing? What do I do if my DM is abusive and forces me to do unspeakable sexual things with the half-giantess called Matilda? Get yourself a new DM. Because that's not okay. If the torchlight begins to dim, maybe they find like 2 orc cultist corpses or something if they head deeper. Here's the thing. This creates a passageway that they either have to find a way through or they have to abandon the current easiest way and go a different way. But a different way could be fun. Now, how do we handle a different direction? Because their guide will no longer have the answer about how to get somewhere, right? You were afraid I'd say that? What, get a new DM? Dude, that's just not okay, to be honest. Like, it's one thing to make your players uncomfortable, but like, you know, there has to be, the whole game is a game about trust and agreement. You can make your players uncomfortable, but there is always a line that some people just don't want to go past. Yeah, if you're serious, it's not cool. Exactly, Bob. Okay. So if they go a different direction, they end up in a different cavern. What happens then? I kind of have an idea for it, and I think it could be fun. This is a carrion crawler. Oh boy. Yeah, this bad boy here is a carrion crawler. This could be fun. This is a setup I've had for a while now. Just not knowing what to do with it. Well, I kind of knew what to do with it. But if you see this over here, this is what I was going to have the old secret entrance be for where they were going. But I think this is no longer what I want. I think this is in need of a change. I don't think this exists anymore. I think this might be a good alternative route for our guys to end up going. Right? Suffocating rules say you die pretty quickly after you go unconscious, but I would rule you can last 15 minutes while unconscious without oxygen. In real life, I would say, yeah, you die pretty quickly because the amount of brain damage you're going to suffer by going unconscious already without oxygen is a lot. But they're heroes, right? Like this is hero time. So everything's built into like rounds and you have a whole lot of resiliency that you don't have in real life. But sure, I think we could treat it like that. I'm gonna go ahead and make a note of that. I think we'll rule with that. You have 10 minutes in real life if you drown. But I think as soon as you're out, like unconscious without oxygen, you start suffering brain damage. If any of my previous like CPR classes have taught me anything, it's that like as soon as you're down, there's fucking problems. There's gonna be some problems. Yeah. So we can play around with that. I think this is something that we're gonna delete over here. But we can do that later. I think if they end up in the wrong area, let's say this is an either or case. Let's say they fall down in that pit. I think they eventually end up here. Let's say they have to go a different direction. I say they eventually end up here. Because this is an easy way for us to play around with like which direction they've gone, and they end up in like this weird fucking area, and there's this weird creature here, and it could be awesome to deal with. I think the carrion crawler is a cool idea. Hence why I had this built weeks ago. So I think that those are two good like traps or things that they need to try to get across. The thing I want to do with the pit is make it a little bigger, right? So instead of the pit being 10 feet, I kind of want to make it 15, maybe. I think 15 would be good. Doesn't add any extra damage. It just adds an extra distance that they'll have to figure out how to deal with if they want to cross it. 10 feet is one thing, but like 15 is like an effort. Thinking about how pits form. I'm thinking that like the separation between, let's say, two mine shafts that you would make the bottom wet. Yeah. Kind of like a loamy. Well, that's what he's going to notice. So Ignis has a high enough passive perception to notice this trap. It's just it's a failing of the mine as it's been used. And so what it's going to be is that like the the wooden structures that kind of like hold the like hold stuff up, like when you're in a cavern, that kind of just like look like this, and you kind of pass under it, and there's like these things here, and it holds the like the dirt at bay, right? So like in your cave exists on the outside here, and so that's how your mine shafts work. And then you have your little mine car in the middle, little wheels on it. Look at me, I'm a master drawer. The failing is going to be in here. So I think that's what will happen. Scaffolding. Yeah, I believe it's a form of scaffolding. Yeah, I could never come up with a word for it, but you're right. I think it's just called scaffolding. Cool. I think that works. I kind of like this idea. Now they're in like a really dangerous old area that is definitely in disrepair. So in this case, falling earth is going to be a problem too, right? So let's take a look at like a falling earth trap. Quote unquote trap. They're not really traps, right? It's this whole thing that's fallen into disrepair, and they're trying to traverse through it. So something that's similar to this is these like falling block ones, right? So the next thing that they'll notice is like, oh, similarly to us falling is that like, man, the scaffolding ahead looks rotted or broken even. So they're gonna like have to figure out how to either get through it or like do they take careful steps or how are they gonna like deal with this? Tend to disable, tend to find. 13 or take 2d10. And the thing is, let's say some of them get trapped on the opposite side. There's a lot of earth in the way. Scaffolding ahead is bulging and dripping. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good descriptor, Bob. I like that. Rotted, broken, bulging and dripping. So that's like if they fall or if they take this other path, right? So now let's say now they're in this other. Oh man, this could be really cool. Now I'm like planning on them ending up in this different area because of this gas, right? Now they could make it through the gas and everything could be hunky dory, right? They could just be fine. And they continue on and they end up like in this confrontation with one of the six who's like set as a guard here, who's figured it out, etc., etc., like that kind of thing. But it could also mean that they just end up completely somewhere else. And now, oh yeah, I think this could be cool. Let's make a new map. I just bought some new maps today, so let's play with them. Marketplace purchases. This guy, the guy who makes these, is freaking amazing. Gabriel Picard is. I love every map he's ever put together, and I've bought. I think all of these are his. They're awesome. I love these. I bought Clan Caves last week. Oh, so good. I'd love to use some more of these Clan Caves too, but I think what we're looking at now is... Oh, hang on. I need to refresh this because it doesn't have my new assets in here. Oh, wait. Twitch chat's not on this screen. Hang on. Hi, Twitch chat. Oh, it's white, and so you can't be seen. Good stuff. Good stuff. That'll work down there for now. So let's take a look at this. Mine water can be acid and alkaline, or acidic and alkaline, that causes chemical burns. Really? Oh, that could be interesting too. So where's my Dwarven Hold 1? Yeah, like look at these, are so cool. A Dwarven Estate. I think so. What would happen is that they end up in an area, a Dwarven Hold entrance, main gates. Oh yeah, I think they find maybe like a secret entrance or something like this, an old Dwarven miner depot. Yeah. Hang on. This is actually one of the parts of this that sold me on this map set. Was this old Dwarven miner depot? 15 by 15. Oops, wrong one. Now we might not make it like an encounter, but I want this for visualization. Let's go ahead and make it furnished just because it's more fun. Cool. Cool. I like this. I think maybe they come across, if they go that opposite direction, like they find like one of these, like a back entrance, right? That could be fun. They find a whole bunch of like old rotted stuff, like mining gear, pickaxes, like just old abandoned stuff. And I don't know. So what happened? How about this? Let's toss this out there into the world here. So Twitch chat, what happened to this dwarven stronghold that it ended up abandoned? Right? Why is it abandoned? So let's say they come across this old dwarven mine entrance. Right? It's abandoned, obviously, so it's got like old mining gear, pickaxes, what looks like water-soaked like dynamite or something. Let's say they roll an investigation. And let's say it's like super high. Maybe they can find something cool. I just got to think about what it is. What would they find? Dug too greedily and too deep, obviously. Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I was thinking as well, but like, what is it? The cat population exploded and the FPS dropped to an unplayable level. Yeah. Was it, that's like the Dwarven Space one that's out right now? Space Mine Explorers or something? The Dwarf Tantrum Spiral. There, I wanna get Twitch chat on here a little better. Dwarf Fortress? Yeah. So do you think, I don't think there's gonna be evidence of that here. But we could create some evidence previous to that with this carrion crawler. Right? So let's say some of the corpses at the carrion crawler are like dwarf corpses. Let's say they investigate the corpse pile. Bone pile at this point. Corpse pile. But what's like something large enough? What's a thing that's large enough that... a force that's large enough, if dug too deep, would have wiped out an entire dwarven stronghold. A whole clan. Right? So like this, the depot leads to the storehouse. Oh, there's a temple too. Oh, that could be so cool. Guard post for a tunnel. This map is so cool. This map pack is amazing. I love it. Sant bench instead of stone bench. Nice. Could have mined out the main silver veins and then just slowly declined. Maybe. So the thing is, the mines that exist above this area are still Erdrick owned, right? Like the city of Erdrick still owns them and still was mining silver out of them. So that's why I kind of want to stay away from like, okay, they stopped the silver ran out. It's possible, but Erdrick still utilizes it. That's why I don't want to say it's that. You know? Though it very well could be. Well, I kind of like the idea that something happened. So we're gonna think on that. I think we're about what, an hour now? Yeah. I'm gonna take a quick little break, grab some more coffee, and we'll be right back to continue this in just a moment. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Let's continue our discussion here, huh? So and that's let's see. Back to what we were talking about. Why would this dwarf stronghold have been abandoned? It could just very well have been the orcs took over. But it's an ancient fortress. I don't think I want to say that. What would have come in and caused an issue, or caused them to abandon the area? An interdimensional rift somewhere would be cool. Spiders, Q? Yeah, maybe. Spiders. Fucking spiders everywhere. I think what we're gonna have in this area, and I think it would be kind of fun, is like, just like 2 animated dwarf corpses. I really want that for some reason. I don't know why. I really do. But what helps with that idea is that, like, there's a lot of dark energy. Mushroom farms overspecialized on one type of mushroom. Blight came along, took out the crop, resulting famine drove out many dwarves. Proper corpse disposal was not practiced during the famine, and so they slowly died out. Oh. Huh. So disease took them. Oh my god, disease took them? I love this. This makes sense. Because guess who fucking lives here now? One of the worshippers of Karis, the aspect of disease. Oh. Oh, that feels good. So a plague. Oh. Disease. It's totally disease, dude. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. So the dwarves wiped out due to a plague. Wow. Always dispose of your corpses properly, also known as a carrion eater. They just eat them. But yes, always dispose of your corpses properly. Oh, that's like one of those things that, like, the water from this cistern would be bad. Right? Like, because it still has, like, whatever the fucking... Oh, yeah, that would be crazy. Because it would have all been in their water supply, and they live underground. Like, it's not like you can air the shit out, right? Like, it's just floating on the wind. I love this. This is a good idea. Cool. Cool. Yeah, dwarves wiped out due to a plague. They'd have to find, like, if they wanted to, they could find out what it is. So there was a famine. Due to lack of crop, right? Due to a blight. And then a plague after the dry. So they a lot of them left. Oh my god! You know what? This is a good origin story for the city that on the sea. Oh my! I wonder if I have this still up. Hang on. Where's the map? Is it in my archived ones? I can't even tell what it is. Restore. Yeah, Bellarec, right here. That would be the origin story for Bell. So they would have, like, let's say they went and they left and they traveled along the spine until they founded the new city over here. I love that idea. That makes me so happy. Thanks, Bob, dude. That's awesome. Particular to the miasma theory of disease. I don't even know what that is. What's the miasma theory? While I sip my coffee, let's talk about miasma theory of disease. I think that's interesting. I love this idea. A lot of dwarves left. And they made a pilgrimage, a journey to the sea, essentially. Where the spine meets the sea. And founded Bellarec. Which is the largest dwarven city on this side of the continent. That's what those bird masks were for. Oh, yeah, okay. Bad air causes disease. I love it. Oh, that's so cool. And that totally, like, that whole plague doctor thing and masks and stuff like that totally plays into, like, how Karis, the aspect of disease, functions. Like, it's so... The aspects and stuff like that, it's all very medieval and like, oh yeah. Oh. I love this. This is cool. The way I wrote crop looks like crap. They left. All right. And there was the famine. And then disease spread. / plague. And that was the end. That was the end of that clan. Oh, now what do we name this clan? Right? Let's look up some random dwarf names. John. Where are you at? Let's see. Random character, NPC, probably male, probably dwarf. Probably an adventurer back when it was And likely something Norse. Oh, man. Ellison, I need like a last name, right? A surname, a strong surname. Silvernail Mines. Sure, yeah, okay. So I like that. Silvernail Mines is a good name. And it was, let's say the Silvernail Mines and the Silvernail clan. Easy. Easy. It's the Silvernail clan. Now, here's the thing. I don't think any of these guys read Dwarvish. So if they ever come across like a ledger, like let's say in this room there's like a ledger of the mining take, right? Like it's an old book that's kind of falling apart. If they try to read it, it's just all gonna be in Dwarvish. So let's just say there's a ledger here. If they do an investigation, there's a ledger in Dwarvish. And it like specifies the Silvernail clan, right? And their take. And if they read deeper into it, you can see that like the staffing of the area had fallen off and stuff like that. And maybe there's a journal. One of the let's say there's like, I think I have access to one of these. I think we can get a bed. I want like cots or something. Not a tent. Sleeping dwarf. I just want a bed. Or a cot of some sort. Is there a monster? There's a little lizard under that one. That's funny. I want something that says that, like, people stayed here. Right? That's easy. This is a simple looking one. Dwarves are relatively small, right? Is it alt? It's alt. Give it like a couple of cots or something. They like stayed here and they monitored this mining entrance. And let's say like there's a corpse in one of them or something. Mine is rich in silver but poor in iron. Mine had a habit of constructing even simple crafts with silver nails because the high cost of iron and low cost of silver. Man, we're getting deep into the lore of these guys. I like this. Bob, you're coming in with a lot of suggestions here, man. I love this. This is great. I think that's a good idea. But I don't know if they're going to dig that deep in it. We were talking about this earlier, too. I don't think they're going to care. Those beds are pretty big if squares are 5 feet by 5 feet. Yeah, but they're just visual. They're just visual. You know? Like, oh yeah, they slept here. The thing is, they're probably not even, this is like a visual reference only. There's not even really like a reason for them to even see this map. The reason that these maps exist is mostly for combat, right? But I guess we could drop them in here. Yeah, they might not even notice. That's the thing. Like, they're not very inquisitive. They kind of just go about their thing. Let's say like one of the beds had like a bag of herbs next to it. Right? So again, the like kind of miasma theory, like this patchouli, this bag of herbs and some incense was enough to keep like, maybe they think it's enough to keep the plague away. / incense. But you're right, they might not even notice. Who knows? Maybe they will. Yeah, no, I think this is cool. This works. So if there is a plague and the air doesn't really change, the players will catch the plague and spread it around? Ancient. So we're talking the level of. I know miasma theory is not real, Bob. I'm just saying, like, the reason that they would have like kept it there, right? It's flavor. It's flavor text. If there was a plague and the air doesn't really change, the players will catch the plague. No, so it would have been like, it's been so long that the corpses themselves would have decayed so far and so much, like whatever was left would have been changed. It is D&D, anything is possible. But I don't think it. I think that we could keep them with that superstition, but it just doesn't work, right? Yeah, but really, they just poison their water with incorrect like, let's say there's a tomb, right? There's a tomb that they were storing their dead in, because, you know, the dwarves are from the earth and they return to the earth, and so there's a tomb where the clansmen were in. But let's say that it was still closer. The tomb was built too close to their water supply, so these diseased corpses leaked into the water supply. But I mean, it's something like that. That, like, it doesn't last. Like, we're talking about, like, this mine would have existed 1,000 years before, or this clan would have existed 1,000 years previous. So over 1,000 years, the water is going to clarify itself. You just let it go, which means, like, the corpses would decay far enough and stuff like that, and that there's no corpses left. There's nothing there to contaminate the water. It just doesn't exist anymore. Hey, Sky, how you doing, bud? Welcome to the stream. I think that if the questions come down to that, and we're like, oh, well, the water still not purified or something like that, that's even something that we can handle now. Killing some dwarves in the past right now, yeah, that's true. Even if the water is still contaminated, and let's say the orcs are drinking it or something like that, and they're getting sick and dying too, it still all works and makes sense, right? Like, it's still okay that happens. And just because they get sick doesn't mean that they will die. It means that magic exists in this world, and guess who they have? They have a paladin that can literally cure diseases. Right? He physically, with magic, can cure diseases. So that's the thing, is like, okay, there was a plague. Why didn't the clerics stop the plague? Why didn't the dwarf clerics? Because they would have had clerics, definitely had clerics of Bellarec. So, Bellaris. Bellaris is the aspect of stone. So, why would like a whole area of clerics not prevent this from happening or cure this with physical, like, literal magic in this area, you know? What would have been the reasoning? Mousepad is all jacked up. Maybe there weren't enough of them. Like, they left because of the famine. You can only cast Cure Disease so many times per day. Exactly. There wasn't enough of them. And let's say that some of them, that like half or more left with the famine. Hey! Lyquan, how are you doing? Handsome man with a voice of gold. Wow, being real sweet today, huh? How are you? Look at that bit badge. Looks good on you. We're talking about how we killed dwarves 1,000 years ago. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good start for this this dwarven area. Now, so they're gonna get through this. And they're going to need, we're gonna have to figure out what happens next. Do we set up a dungeon crawl based on this? We can. Oh, the forge. Oh, that's so cool. No ass licking. Wowie. It's what I do best. Oh my god. It's enough. It's enough. You guys. Dwarven housing. Oh man. The market square. These maps are amazing. God, this guy is so good. He's so good at what he does. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Temple is so neat too. You'll behave? Well, I appreciate it. I'm just happy you're here to hang out. Let's see. Because they're going to have to make their way through this area now. So there's going to be this mining entrance, the storehouse, somewhere in this area, and then, what next? What next? What happens? See, now we're in a dwarven stronghold too, right? Like, this is trap central. This is trap central. I don't know if my friend popped by, told him, and he sounded interested. I don't know. If he did, he didn't type in chat or let me know if he came by. But this is trap central, right? This is what does a level 3 trap look like? Oh, fire spray, electrified floor tiles, arrow traps. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is cool. A thunderstone mine could be cool. Because it's so loud, it might alert them to the enemy, the orcs, the cultists, to their location, or make them aware that something is happening. Guillotine blades. Oh, runes of paralyzation. I think these are hilarious. Do like a rune of paralyzation and then have like a scythe blade or something. See, I think as they get close, like heading in, there's going to be these traps that the dwarves that would have come out to the mines would have been able to know about. So there's going to be locked doors too, right? Like none of this is going to be open. There's going to be locked doors to get inside of this. They're not going to they wouldn't just leave it open. So they're going to have to find a way through that first. So let's say they get down here, and there's a trapped door. Not a trap door, a trapped door. And it's locked to get inside this area. Plus 11 to hit against one target. Whoa. 4D dent. Wow. That's too strong. We could adjust that, but that's too strong. I'm curious, what's a level 21 look like? Thunder turret? Jeez. It's crazy. A net trap. A symbol of panic. I mean, these are pretty cool. Acid spray, guillotine blade. These are really neat. I think the Thunderstone mine is like the one to do here. Right? At least at the door. Maybe. I don't know. Ah. Ah. Arrow trap. Arrow trap's like a classic. Simple enough to find. It's not like this is a super fortified area. This isn't a guard post, right? This is just a mining post. Arrow trap, DC 10 to find. 15 to disable. +4 to hit. 1d10 pierce. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like that. I think that's okay. We can do the rest of these, I think, as they go through this, right? So let's say they go to the storehouse, right? And so some of this the storehouse still has stuff in it. So like the mining things that they got, like the old whatever ore they had already gotten is not going to go away. But let's say there's 3 doors. Each of them are locked and each of them are trapped because why not? If they really want to try doing it, you know what I mean? $40-10 lightning. That's brutal. Just looking around to see what happens. DC 20 and DC 20. Luckily these are random. Like that's not even okay. All right, I'm just looking at traps now. That's not anything that you guys are actually interested in, so that's okay. So let's take a look at what we need to do map-wise. I think what could be fun is after they get through this area, we create a new spot for them, and they get to like wander around this dwarven city, right? So here's the storehouse. Another 15 by 15. Let's go ahead and drop this bad boy in here. And I'll handle all the lighting stuff off screen because I know that's not fun for you guys to sit around and watch me do that. We don't need to picture the storehouse. It's good enough to just describe it. Because there's nothing else happening there except them opening doors and finding things if they find things. So they're going to come down a hallway, continuing in, and where they're going to end up is probably a market square, right? Kind of like this whole area, the center of town. It'll take them a bit to get there because the mine's going to be pretty far outside of the city. You know? The mine's not going to be super close to the city. But this could be fun. Now, would it be... I don't think it... Maybe furnished is the wrong thing to do here. I'm not sure. Hmm. Maybe it goes directly to the housing. I just want to see what this looks like. Blown up. See, that's kind of cool too. A housing district. I think a housing district rather than a market district makes more sense. For sure. An old, like an abandoned housing district. Right. Deep enough down that the invading the cultist orcs haven't necessarily gotten there. Right? They don't post up guards there maybe, but maybe they do patrol it. Like there's a patrol of guards and stuff that might happen. I think that might work. Okay. Cool. I think we've kind of got what we're going to do today. So, how things are going to play out today, what we're looking at is this is the previous area that they were in. They fought these cultists in this encampment. They're going to proceed past this. I don't know what they're going to do about all of the bodies, the things that they slain or whatever. We'll figure that out. I believe they're resting currently. I'll have to check on that, but I believe they're doing their long rest because I handed out experience. And we'll see how they proceed. So as they go, right? So the beginning of this is basically they're going to start walking. They're going to start traveling down the same area they've always been traveling. They're going to run across this pit/sinkhole and either find a way across it or fall down it and either come back up or figure it out. So they'll have to do that. Pueblo maps are hard to make, but I always like the aesthetic. True. Yeah. We could do that. I like pre-made maps because it doesn't take me as much time, man. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the maps take a while. And this is about the preparation I get every week is this time right now. So you guys are witnessing how I prep every week for this show. So they're gonna come across this kind of pit or sinkhole, and we'll have to see if they can get across it. Or if they fall down, it's about a 20-foot drop into a different cavern, and they can either try to come back up, or they can go down this cavern. If they continue down the main area, they might run across this gas leak area. So they're either gonna have to find a way around, or something else. And then if they're in the even older mining area that leads to this old dwarven mine, there's the falling earth trap that we talked about that we'll have to avoid. I like all of these. This is pretty cool. This is basically problem solving day. Yeah. And if they go down in the old mining section, so there's two things that happen here. Do they stay on the main path? Yes, they do. There's a confrontation with one of Jirok's brothers, Kel, right? And another brother here that's non-pictured. It depends on how this goes. If Jirok accepts the challenge from Kel and they fight quote-unquote honorably, Kel's most likely going to win. But if Kel loses, this one's going to run and go tell on him, going to go tattle. If they don't fight fair, this one's going to step in and basically wreck shop because this is going to be fought in essentially a globe of darkness. If our friends run and they can make it through here, they'll have to make a strength check to get across the water. If they choose to go the opposite direction after the poison gas, they go to the old mining section. They're going to have to contend with the carrion crawler. And let me go ahead and check that the carrion crawler isn't going to kill them outright. Any environment. It's level. It's a 2. Yeah. So it's a large monstrosity. but it's not. It's such an easy encounter alone because there's only one of them that it technically doesn't even register, which is fine. This is flavor. This is a flavor encounter for them. From this point, they're going to come across the mine, or the mining entrance, the old mining entrance, and have to contend with that. I think this is a good way for us to do it. I don't think they're going to get any farther than this today. If they do, there's definitely going to be some orc cultists and stuff like that. Kind of the same that they had to deal with previously. So a couple of regular orcs with an orc eye, patrolling an area or something like that. We could even throw in, let's see, an eye or a hand. Nurtured ones we could throw in. All of this stuff can kind of just be added in. Ooh, an Orog could be cool. All of this stuff could be added in. Let's say they're in the housing district, and it's being patrolled, and they run across that patrol. Cool. I think these are all good opportunities for combat and things like that, and interesting things to happen. We'll see how they handle it. We'll see how they handle the old mining area. If they try to find out what happened to the dwarves, if they go into this abandoned area and they start finding like all of these corpses and things like of all of these old dead dwarves, maybe it sparks some interest. Maybe it does. We'll see. We'll see if they start wondering about it. Maybe like Ignis or someone makes an awesome history check or something like that, and totally knows that the story of an ancient dwarven tribe that started Bellarec, the city on the sea, and there was a rumor that there happened to be this stronghold that existed here or something, right? The carrion crawler could drag them to the water, which could deal acid damage. Ooh, that's a lot of water though. Paralyzing tentacles. Oh, we could do that. Yeah, hang on. Let me bring up my my carrion crawler here. Where is he at? The tainted crawler. Does he have paralyzing tentacles? Let's take a look. He does. He does have paralyzing tentacles. Look at this. Until the poison ends, the target is paralyzed. Look at that. He has paralyzing tentacles. I think this is good. He gets 2 attacks with tentacles and bite. So he gets a chance to paralyze every time. 51 health. The problem is with 51 health, so I also gave him Undead Fortitude because he's one of the tainted monsters. So when they drags him into the water, they can't escape from it. Yeah. Oh, I like this. So you're thinking, are you thinking that he oh wait, this is a token. He's in the water already? Just existing in the water? Because that could happen. We could do that. Like, this is a nest, but he's just, like, lurking in the water. I like that idea a lot. The thing is, like, Jirok is, like, you think he's on the ceiling? Like, above the water or just hanging out? But I think, yeah, ceiling's probably not a bad bet either. He drops on the player and grapples spider climb. Yeah, okay, sure. All of that makes sense. Oh yeah, spider climb. Yeah, oh wow, yeah. Okay. I like that. The thing is, like, he doesn't have a very high armor class, and Jirok is like, Jirok can like one-shot this guy. The 6 and the ring users are like stupid strong. Here's a little look into Jirok here. He can deal with a scimitar. He can do 2 scimitar or dart attacks. I've been limiting him because he has to make constitution saves every time he attacks, essentially. But 3d4 plus 3, like, jeez. He does a lot of damage. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think maybe that happens. Or because there's... Screw it, man. Why not? What's the problem with having 2 of these? Right? They should still be able to handle this. We have 4 characters and a panther. I think there's not an issue with that. The thing is, it's how down are they? Here's the deal. This will be a DM call during time. If the traps have seriously harmed them already, let's say they've already even tried to short rest and they're like tapped on health and spells, we might leave it as 1. How about that? We'll have to see how it goes. This is going to be a of the moment call. If it's too easy, boom, another carrion crawler drops down from the fucking ceiling. Good luck, right? But I think that's an of the time DM call for sure. Cool. I think that's how we handle the carrion crawler. That's how we handle the bridge crossing. That's how we handle those traps, and that's how they get into the city. If they decide that, let's say they go the main route, this is the last thing that we actually need to look at here before I forget. If they decide to go the main route, what level are they? We have 2 at level 3, 1 at level 4, and Jirok is essentially level 5. If they... I think this is where we utilize the guard post. Right? Oops. Go ahead and go to map. The 15 by 15. Right? This is the place they eventually make it to. Guard post 15 by 15, I think it is. Yeah. Okay. And this is clearly guarded. Right? There's gonna be at least cultists here. Probably 2 or 3. Let's call it 4. They're not gonna have an issue dispatching these orcs, but this is just a guard post. This is an entrance they have to utilize. Call it 4. I think that's a good plan. Cool. Cool. And if they proceed through this, there's a secondary entrance, right? Market Square. Hold main gates or hold entrance. He's essentially leading them down like a side tunnel is where he's going to do. They're going to have to pass this entrance. For sure. I think they're going to have to pass that entrance. So we're going to just slap this down here just in case. Like, right, let's say that in case they end up in combat here. Otherwise, the entrance 30 by 30. Oh, it's a 15 by 15. Oh, it's a much smaller one. Nice. Okay, cool. We can go ahead and change that. right? And so they'll have to find a way past this. So there'll be like maybe 1 or 2 orcs just like posted up here chatting or something. I think that's how we do that. Cool. Okay. Nice. I think this is good. I think this is good. Unless you guys have any other things that you want to add, or any other questions or anything like that, I'll leave it for we'll sit for a couple seconds. Sorry, girlfriend texted me. Any other questions or things to add or anything like that? I think this is how this session's gonna go. And I'm excited for it. I think we've got a lot of cool paths here. And big thanks to Bob and Q for a lot of suggestions today. I think this is going to be really interesting. And thanks for helping me develop a fun way to do stuff without combat, as well as providing 2 different routes. You're trying to find something to add to the carrion crawler fight, then another carrion crawler. An onkeg is an option. Let me pull up my bestiary. See what all an onkeg can do. Acid spray. Monstrosity large. Burrows. Grapple. Kind of like that. You were interesting to listen to while I cooked dinner. I'm glad, Lai. I'm glad. The onkeg is interesting. Let's see how that looks challenge rating wise. Same difficulty. Same difficulty. So you thinking they'd fight beside each other? A dark mantle, huh? That's an onkeg. Crazy looking guy. Oh, jeez. Clings to cavern ceilings, remaining perfectly still. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Darkness aura. Oh, yeah, they're challenge rating half. So we could go carrion crawler and then, like, 2 dark mantles. Even 3. Crazy looking. I love him. Cool. That's a good idea. Dark mantles in general are a good idea. Yeah, Bob. No, that's a good plan too. Like pairing my monsters with lots of abilities with a swarm of lower CR monsters so they last. It has to be a dark mantle purely for the excitement in your eyes. It's the fact that they look like stalactites or stalagmites, right? And they can just like drop in on people. Oh, it's terrifying. I love that idea. We're putting some dark mantles in, boys. For sure. I like that. I'm thinking 3. Right? And the carrion crawler in the water. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this shit over here. This is unnecessary. That's just gone. Yeah. We don't need that. Cool. Which means, wow, the map was exceptionally larger than it needed to be. Oops, wrong button. I want this one. Width by height 45, so it's gonna be a... Is that 35? No, close. Close, me, close. That works. Yeah, I like this. And we can leave the paralyzing in the water with the carrion crawler. Oh, man. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and move these guys to the GM layer because we don't want our players to see these. I like this. This is cool. All right, nice. Good idea, Bob. Good idea, but that's... I'm glad you understand and know more of the monsters than I do off the top of your head. Because I didn't even think about those. Cool. Nice. I think that's good. I'm gonna grab some lunch for myself, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna prep the show, because the show starts in about an hour from now. I just Google food. Nice. Dude, that works for me. I love it. And then I'm gonna prep the rest of these maps and do the lighting and stuff like that. That'll be fun. For me, at least, I'll just pop on some music and do that. And I'll prep the show, and we should be good to go for 3 o'clock. So about an hour from now, we'll have the DieFall campaign, and I'm excited for this. This is really cool. This is really cool. One day you'll learn how to DnD and join and stuff with like this because it looks so fun. Lai, you are more than welcome to ask questions, especially during streams like this. This is I know you were cooking and stuff, but like this is the perfect time to ask questions about things. And you're always welcome to ask me questions, either in Discord or I'm gonna put this up on YouTube, so it'll be the comment section. You can ask questions there. All of that stuff. It should be I'm excited for today. This is good. This is good. Thanks for the help, Bob and Q. And Lai, thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here for now. So thank you for joining me on the DM prep stream for DieFall for April 15th. And I will hopefully see you guys in an hour for the actual show. And until then, later, guys.